Shout out to all my packet chasers. Packet chasers in the building. If you don't know, this is your sign to get your CCNA. Today, I'm going to be discussing a rack ready static route lab. I attempted this lab online and about 90% of it works. So by the end of this session, you're supposed to know how to configure static routes on multiple routers, verify routing tables, test end-to-end connectivity, and troubleshoot when the thing don't go right. This is my my personal lab setup. R1 is connected to R2 via serial connection. R2 is connected to R3 via a T1 connection. R1 FE01 goes into my switching network. R2 is connected to, has a direct connection to port 1 on switch 2. R3 has a direct connection to port 1 on switch 3. 1 gig connections. This is how they're connected. 3 to 2 is on port 1 to port 1. 2 to switch 1 is on gig port 2 to gig port 2. And switch 1, gig port 1 is open. So my original plan was to connect PC1 and PC2 into the switch network so that they could connect via VLAN and do their thing. But that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to work out. So I ended up having to take this FE01 and connect that to PC1. That way I could take the switching activity out of it. And then here I connected this router's FE01 to PC2. All right, the next thing we need to cover is the IP schema. And after going over this, I found out where I made my personal mistake. So PC1, which is here, that's going to get a 192.168.10.1.10, and that's a stroke 24. And then PC2 is going to get a 192.168.3.10 stroke 24. R1, which is right here on this particular interface, is FE01. Gonna be 192.168.1.1, which is a stroke 24. I made a mistake and I made this a stroke 30. I ended up getting one-way pinging from, I was able to ping from PC2 back to PC1, but from PC1 towards PC2, that's where I ended up messing up. To continue on R1, we also got 10.1.12.1 right here, which is facing R2. And then on R2, these are the bidirectional routers that they do the middle thing. So 10.1.12.2 is there. 10.1.23.2, R2 10.1.12.2, 10.1.23.1. 10.1.23.1 goes here. So 192.168.1.1, stroke 24, and then 10.1.12.1. That's correct. R2 10.1.12.2, so that could be a point-to-point. And then on this side, 10.1.23.1 on this end and 23.2 on the R3 side. 10.1.23.1. All right, and then on R3, 10.1.23.2. All of these are stroke 30s. So that's a stroke 30. All of these are stroke 30. So this is a stroke 30. It's a stroke 30, stroke 30, stroke 30. These are stroke 24s. All right, so right here, that particular IP address, 10.1.23.2, and then 192.168.3.1. 192.168.3.1, which is a stroke 24. While I was live, I made that a stroke 30 on an accident. Plus, I originally had my PCs hanging off the switches, which added another layer of complexity when I would have had to VLAN those. So I just ended up connecting my PCs directly to the routers. The first thing we're going to do with regards to static routing, we're going to type this command into R1 IP route 192.168.3.0 22255.0 space 10.1.12.2. So we telling the R1 router any traffic that's destined for 192.168.3.0 net, send that here. Send that in that direction to 10.1.12.2. And then once it gets here, this is the middle person router. So it's gonna have routes to both directions. Now it's gonna forward that information back this way towards PC2, which is 192.168.3.10. So anything destined for the 3.0 network, send it to 10.1.12.2. In this middle router right here, this middleman router, we're going to type the command IP route 192.168.1.0 22255.0. Send that to 10.1.12.1. Any packets that are destined to 192.168.1.0, any packets destined this way, we're going to send that here, 10.1.12.1. Now, the antithesis of that is anything destined for 192.168.3.0 net, send that to 10.1.23.1. We got the IP route, the routing statement for router 3. In router 3, we're going to type IP route 192.168.1.0 22255.0. Send that to 10.1.23.1. So in this example, we saying any packets that are destined for the 1.0 net, which lives on router 1, send that to 10.1.23.1, which is this middle router. We should have routing information to forward that packet to the 1.0 network, family. Next, we're going to talk about how to verify and check all of this. So the first thing we're going to do to check all of the whatnots going on up in here, the first command we're going to use is show IP route. We're going to run this on all of our routers so that we can check to make sure that particular information is in the routing table. What we're looking for when we type show IP route, the statement that we're looking for is static route to 192.168.3.0 stroke 24 directly connected via 10.1.12.2. 10.1.12.2. So when we run the show IP route command, we're looking for a statement like this that says, with the S 192.168.3.0 stroke 24 with a 1 stroke 0 in there, means it's statically connected via 10.1.22, 10.1.12.2. 10.1.12.2. Another thing that we're going to do is, the next thing we're going to do is, from PC1, we're going to ping PC2. Ping 192.168.3.10. Should come back all good. The next thing we're going to do is, from router 1, we're going to ping 192.168.192.168 192.3.1, which is that's the farthest end. That's the farthest end of the network. Then the next thing we're gonna do from our run is we're gonna run a trace route to 192.168.3.10. 192.168.3.10. We're gonna run from R1. We're gonna run a trace route to 192.168.3.10. What we should see is we should see our packet hop from here to here to here to there. That's just what we should see. That's exactly what we should see. During the next session, we're going to break this and then troubleshoot it and fix it. Like I said, I broke mine already by using the wrong subnet mask on the R1 interface. If you would like to join us on our march towards the CCNA certification, make sure you click on the link below and become a member of the PacketChaser Patreon study group. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through today. Shout out to all my Packet Chasers. Packet Chasers in the building.